Hello and welcome back, and you actually find me sat below a mountain, and I'm in the Gardunda Mountain range in central Portugal. I'm sat just below a village which sits at the bottom of this actual mountain, and I'm actually going to go up through the village, go onto the dirt tracks and take the dirt tracks all the way to the top. It's a very doable mountain, although when it is hot it can be that can throw challenges in itself. So I've come prepared for that. I'm here reasonably early to start the hike, so yeah, let's start making this happen and well, use some of this cool early morning air before it starts getting warm. Right, I'm looking up on top of the mountains, and it's not the full height, but there's something quite interesting here, and they're swimming rivers, and they're rivers which have been dammed off to create swimming pools for local people to swim in the hot weather. And it is quite a little fascinating setup. I'll let you have a look. That's obviously the natural course of the river, and you've got like natural sand build up, but you've got these swimming pools made up from the river, which has been dammed up with these wooden boards, and I can just make out fish in there as well. So this is basically part of the mountain range. I'll spin you around because it's in quite of a horseshoe shape, this, and it goes well behind that peak there. That isn't the highest point, but this village sits in kind of like the bowl of a horseshoe. And here we are, Castello Nova, and that's what this little village is called. It's surrounded by olive and fruit groves, but it's a fair bit of wind actually. If I remember rightly, it was the last time I came here. Carry on up the hill, and I guess I'm following these markings, which I believe indicate a trail. Stunning little village to visit. There is actually a castle, but that's something I'll do with the family one evening when I can drive up here and park, because my wife isn't really that mobile. But yeah, let's keep going. The sun is starting to get a little bit high in the sky. I'm going to have to put a hat on in a minute. But I'm in the central part of the village, and it's got that old world vibe about it. Lovely cobbled streets. The houses look really nice. And there's this old fountain. You see a lot of fountains throughout Portugal. And there's seating areas, but I've got to make my way, keep going. I'm running behind a little bit today. Now this is the actual sign I'm looking for, and that's where we're heading. It's looking absolutely stunning already. I've just left the village, but behind me, I'll swing you around into the sun. There is a factory here just before you leave the top of the village and head up this track. I'm not sure, but it looks like it could actually be like a water factory. I'm not sure, but yeah, let's continue up here and get onto the tracks proper for some peace and quiet. I've seen no other hikers, so I could be in for a nice, quiet, peaceful hike. Right, I remember this bit here, but even with that wind, my backpack is starting to make my back sweat. I can feel it getting damp. Right, let's make my way up through here. Those terraces down there would have been somebody's pride and joy back in the day. They look like they're fairly well kept, but people would have provided all their, well, subsistence and possibly living from those little terraces. Let's take a look up there. You can just make out the village disappearing into the distance down in the valley. You might just see the remnants of the old castle there. It is quite visible for me here. Can I zoom in? I'm not sure. Possibly not. It may come out on camera. Right then, so if memory serves me right, this track is really, well, quite doable. It's just the fact of the heat, a constant gradient, and I've never seen anybody up here when I've been here. There are mountain bike tracks I can see in the gravel, and I can see wheeled vehicles, but yeah, there is a bit of distance. I can't remember the complete distance. I'll have to look that up. I think it said 7k on the sign at the bottom. I'll have to revisit that bit of footage. So 7k, 4.5 miles of an incline in the heat. So that presents a challenge, but it's not mountaineering. You are walking on a gravel track. But there is a sense of achievement for doing it, because make no joke about it, it's high enough, you know, and a good enough workout for you to feel satisfied once you've done it. Now what I'm looking at over there, which you could be forgiven on your first climb of this mountain, is think that that is the top. It's not, it's a false ridge. You have to go out behind that and then keep climbing again. If memory serves me right, it comes to kind of like a little bit of a flattish plateau before you start climbing again. But very deceptive. You think you're almost there and you still got to keep going. Now I don't know what this is, but he is massive. I'll have to look it up when I get home. Whoa, look at him. That's the tip to my hiking stick, and it looks like he's got a very sharp tail there. I really don't know what that is. He's huge. Don't want to antagonise him, but I do want to see what it is. Look at that beauty. Whoa, like I said, the tip of my hiking stick, and that's 28 mil. He's huge. Right, let's continue onwards. Oh, I've got a real sweat on. I'm going to stop and put sun cream on in a moment. I'm just going to catch my breath here. I've said it before, I'm not as fit as I used to be, and I've put a lot of weight on over the last 6-12 months, which I do have to do something about. I think I've reached a point, you know, it's time to do something. But yeah, I do have a lot of fluid and I have a few snacks just to, you know, get me sorted for the downward journey. But I will have to find somewhere to stop in the shade in a moment and take on some fluid. Like I said, even though this is what I would call, you know, a nice, relatively doable mountain hike, yes, it's on a dirt track, you are sweating and using a lot of fluid and using a lot of energy. So always take that into consideration. I've told my wife where I'm to and what I'm doing, but in light of recent events where people have gone missing in hot countries and succumbed to either illness or dehydration or whatever, I don't know what the circumstances are, there's a fair chance that you know, if you don't bring something like fluid and a little bit to eat with you and sun protection, you could find yourself in a lot of difficulty, if not a dangerous situation. Now, some of the slopes on this mountain are quite heavily forested or got a lot of vegetation, where others are literally just dried out grass and huge granite boulders. But I always take the opportunity to rest in the shade if there's trees. Ooh. Right, where I've just stopped to rehydrate and put some sun cream on, there is actually a viewing platform you can climb up onto. Obviously, you've got to be a little bit careful when you're doing something like this. Slips, trips and falls, you can find yourself getting hurt very easily. But in any case, I'm up here and let's have a look out over. Sun's in her eyes again, so I don't know what the viewing quality will be. There is another viewing platform, metal one, we'll come across later. But central Portugal, land of the giant granite boulder. They're everywhere. If the Portuguese could sell granite boulders, every single one of them would be a millionaire. Right, we've come to the next viewing platform. Let's go and have a look. And it's a sloping metal ramp out over a drop. So let's get my kit off and make our way up onto it. Here we are. And it's got that disconcerting feeling of falling forward. There's a track coming around there, and you can see all the way down to the lakes. Bring you up, see the lakes over there? That's where I'm taking the kids tomorrow, and it's not too far from where I'm actually living at the moment, or based. But yeah, we are quite high, and yet again, that isn't the top. That's another false ridge. I've got to go around this track onto the plateau I was talking about, and out over that. So let's make that happen. There's one of those insects we saw earlier, and it looks like the ants have got it. They're actually making a meal of it. But the thing is, the ants are also coming after my shadow. The soldier ants. See that one running? Yeah, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to get caught up in this ant fest. Keep on going, keep on pushing through. I came here to do it, so I'm going to do it. And that red and white tower is where we're heading to. That's the actual top. There's a little a concrete pyramid beside it. I'm guessing that's probably the official top. But it's still a long way away yet. I'm still climbing. Right, it's about 9:20 and that sun is high enough now to really make its mark. I'm feeling it. You would not want to, well, from a personal perspective, I wouldn't want to do what I've just done starting this time of day. I'm pretty sure there's people that do and have, but me on a personal level, I'm glad I've broke the back of it. And I think I've got a track around the side which brings me up on it, but I think that's a bit of a gradient in itself. But I've run into one local Portuguese man, a young man probably in his 20s, and he's out here running, and yeah, I had to carry on walking as I watched him run off into the distance. And I could only just dream of the days I used to run. But yeah, he was fit as a fiddle and he was gone. Right, let me concentrate on just walking up here now. Now you can walk all the way along that horseshoe and come back down, I should imagine, into the village by a different track system. But I don't have that luxury of time. By the time I get up here and have something to drink and eat, it'll be time to enjoy the descent. Right, I've just come around the rock face, and this is the last bit of track going up to the top before I can swing round to the towers. You probably won't gather how steep that is, but from where I am looking at it, it appears vertical. Obviously it's not, but I'm having to lean into this. I'm giving it one final push. I want to sit down for half an hour, rehydrate, have something to eat, phone the wife, say I'm still alive, and then I'm going to really enjoy a nice gentle saunter down. It's all downhill. There's no ups and downs. It's going to be all downhill. So I'm going to cream up with sun cream, hydrate, have something to eat, and retrace my steps. Right, I've reached the top, and you can see across to the Sierra de Estrella mountain range over there. And on that very, very highest point, there's two little dots. That's the radio dishes. But up here on the top of the Gardunda Mountain, it's radio telecommunication systems. This one here, and I'm seeing if I can get over to that concrete pyramid. I did last time. I don't know if I can again now, or whether they've repaired the fence. Trackway takes you just up to the last bit through some scrubland. Over here, there's the sign. I don't want to fall now, twist an ankle. And we're going to go to that concrete pyramid and get some shade. Whew. I need it. So I've got some just plain salty crisps just to put some salt back in my body. My t-shirt is absolutely leaking, soaking wet with sweat. And with the wind up here, it's actually chilling me down. So I'm going to take this off and put, I knew this happened last time. On the way down, I did get quite chilled, even though it was a hot day. So I've got another t-shirt I'm going to put on. That's something I would recommend, a change of t-shirt, because quite simply, once you've sweated out and got everything so wet and you've worked hard, going down you're not working as hard, so you kind of get a bit of a chill factor going on, or I did anyway. So in conclusion, coming up here, I would say you definitely need a level of fitness. Yes, it's a hard standing road when you get near the summit. I think that's due to the fact the weather conditions. The rest of it is like fire track and trails. But it's all steep gradient and there's no let up. It is all like that from the bottom to the top. So yeah, you need a level of fitness, or you could find yourself getting into difficulties. I've only seen one other person. If I was to slip, trip and fall off the track, if I was just having a quick little look at something, you could get yourself into trouble. You know, that stands to reason anywhere like this. Yeah, so I'm going to eat some of these, put a bit of salt in my body. I've already got half of a 2-litre bottle of pop. I know what I said earlier and I'll stand by it. It's definitely not the best thing to hydrate you, but it's doing my job till I get back down the car. So yeah, I'm going to finish up here and then I'm going to make my way back down off this mountain in reverse order, not a new track, so I probably won't film that for you guys. Next time you see me, it'll be back down at the car. So yeah, I'm going to have half hour just chilling out before I make a move. See you guys in a minute. Right, that looks like a nice new car, but it's not mine. Mine's in for repair and this is a loan car. So yeah, I'm not making millions from YouTube or selling sticks or anything like that. But I've come under the trees for some shade. And I'm at the lakes in central Portugal. It's about 3-4 in the afternoon, but this is one thing that we can do. My wife can walk down to the beach very easily with a bit of help, and when she's in the water there, obviously the weight is off her legs. So yeah, this is something that we can all do and enjoy together as a family. So it looks like we've been joined by some locals, and our little beach now has a grand sum of 2 families. And yeah, you couldn't ask for anything more. The kids are loving it. If you stay in the shallows here, it's quite warm. The further you go out, the water obviously gets colder. But from where I was early this morning up on the mountains to being down here and by this lake, it is so refreshing. When I actually got off the mountain from doing that hike, I was pretty threadbare. I was on my last legs when I got down the car, and I didn't do any filming because when I got down the bottom, there was like a mad crush to get parking spaces, and as soon as I turned up, there were like 3 people waiting for me to exit the parking space. So I didn't really have the opportunity, you know, trying to be courteous, to hang about filming, so I just had to leave that location. But yeah, I'm getting the kids down here and letting them have a splash, spending some time with the wife and Shania. So yeah, it's you know, I've done my thing this morning. I'm trying to do a family thing now. So you're probably thinking, why am I sat in a car here? I'm just getting out of the sun a little bit. I've been really hit with the sun coming down off that mountain. And all jokes aside, when I did get down, I really did feel like, you know, I just needed you know, when I got back to Jamie's dad's place, I was smashing fluid back, and I took sort of like an hour just to recuperate. I would say going up those mountains, you need to do possibly an hour, maybe 2 in the darkness this time of year. But then again, I don't want to advise that because obviously that puts hidden dangers. Walking the way I did up there, you know, I didn't see anybody, and it was probably with good reason because you know, what's that saying? Only mad dogs and Englishmen. Most people wouldn't even be going up on those sort of tracks in this weather. But yeah, I am going to be getting in the water now. Yeah, the kids have spent most of their time while we've been over here either in the pool or in water of some description. And, you know, they're thoroughly enjoying themselves. And any time I go and do a hike or anything like that, as you've seen, it's first thing in the morning so I can get back and do exactly what I'm doing here with the family and kids. So I'm just, yeah, I'm getting changed. Yeah, so I'm gonna get changed and I'm coming in now.
Oh, I'm coming. Should we get more?
So then guys, thanks for coming with me up the mountain for a hike and watching me and the kids have a little bit of time swimming around with my wife and Shania. So, you know, all the best, take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.